Welcome back, citizens, to an all-new episode of the Batcave podcast. It's your old bat chum, John S. Drew here, and it's chapter 14, and I'm going to use a big word here, the penultimate episode of our 1943 Batman series. Author, editor Jim Beard, how do you feel about the penultimate episode?
Penultimate. I am looking forward to the end.
Are you really?
Is nigh.
The end is nigh.
Yeah, and because I want to see how this thing ends. That was not a slam against this serial. It's just I'm really looking forward to seeing how this whole thing ends. I suspect I know how it will end, and I'm not being facetious at all. I have an idea because I kind of know how these things go. But I think there's something being telegraphed, especially now in this, of how this is going to end.
Well, the America will win the war. I know that much.
There is that. Yep.
I said it in the last episode. What I do like, at least, is that we're finally starting to see the elements all coming together. You know, everybody's starting to converge on whether it's forcefully or forced Daka's headquarters.
Well, the Batman and Daka's paths are very close to intersecting, finally.
Yep. Daka's
weapon is almost ready.
Yep.
He's got his radium or whatever the hell it is that he wanted all along. The zombies are figuring into it. And we've got, pretty much everything here except for Colton.
Oh, Colton, yes. Except for dear. I'm telling you, I think if Colton, there's going to be a just like a little mini thing that I'm going to do a retrospective on Colton just from.
Okay. I think, well, you know what? Because I suspect he really is dead.
Oh, God.
So, a great injustice has been perpetrated on our world with the offing of Colton in such a offhanded way.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, it's weird because they have a perfect opportunity to have him working behind the scenes or make some kind of big dramatic entrance and save the day, or if they're like he's in disguise among this or whatever. But I don't think it's any of that. I think he's just dead.
Or what if it turns out that the radium that Daka has is wrong, like it's not radium, it looks like radium or something like that, like some sort of weird thing, and Colton shows up at the last moment going, you fool, it's going to self-destruct, and Daka's like, no, and so they all run out and Daka throws the switch to try and kill them all with the weapon, and instead it blows up.
I suspect,
wouldn't that be great?
That would be great, but I suspect that Robin is really Colton.
Oh man!
But there's one thing, and we're going to talk about it in mere seconds here now. That happens that leads me to believe that Robin is not Colton, because Colton would never be as stupid as Robin.
Okay.
More determined than ever to destroy Batman, Daka plans a diabolical new trap. But Batman and Robin do a little hunting of their own.
People don't usually build subterranean passages that come to a dead end.
Sure seems funny.
Get the crowbar from the car and we'll do a little investigating.
Do you still refuse?
Yes.
Proceed, gentlemen.
Well, interestingly enough, for a short episode, for episode 13, we open on episode 14. Obviously, we're going to replay the cliffhanger, but I thought, wow, they went into a lot of the cliffhanger. Like it goes on for a good couple of minutes, a replay of episode 13.
Padding.
Yeah, a lot of padding. All for the simple thing of Robin showing up in the nick of time and throwing a crowbar down to Batman to stop the mechanism so that then he can climb out.
All right, screeching halt here.
Okay, go ahead.
The Batman.
Look out, Batman! They can see you!
Save your breath. He is 50 feet away and on the other side of the wall. I want to preserve this moment of triumph to the utmost. I'll be with you in a moment, Miss Page. Oh, that is enough. Down. Now we will see if he likes this. Oh, I must not keep Miss Page waiting.
Bruce, where are you? A heavy sigh.
I know.
Oh, that kid. I'd get rid of him. Yeah, you know what? I would say, hey, Robin, I don't know if you want to be carrying a crowbar around, because several decades down the road, you and a crowbar are not going to mix very well.
Rose, where are you? I'm down here in the pit. Be careful where you step. Pass me the crowbar, quick!
Just the fact that he calls him Bruce just further solidifies what is the point of the personas if they're not going to recognize the
Wait,
code
it's
names?
not just that he calls him Bruce, he shouts it.
Yeah.
Bruce, where are you? If I was Batman, I would have said, Bruce isn't here. I'm here. I'm Batman.
Yeah.
Very nasty gadget to get caught in. Thanks, Robin.
We better get out of here.
There must be a secret door somewhere in this passage. Let's get our sounding set and test these walls.
Well, the funny thing is when Batman, spoiler alert, Batman gets out of this,
Yep.
he says, thanks, Robin. He makes a point to call him Robin,
Yeah.
not thanks, Dick.
Yeah.
You know, I it should be like a big, relief and, oh, okay, I'm fine and everything. And then he should just turn around and slap that kid's face and say, if you ever call me Bruce again, well, we're in costume. It's going to be more than a slap. Jeez. It's just weird. You know, it's this thing about when this was made and or how it was made and
How it was made and
yeah,
the level of understanding.
Yeah, it is. There's no real craft involved.
No,
you know.
but that was a lot of them. I mean, the only one I can think of from there is the Captain Marvel one that is somewhat faithful. Other than Captain Marvel is a sadistic bastard. I mean, he like will kill people left and right.
Yeah.
There's nothing charming
they
about
did that
him.
back then.
You know, but there's nothing charming about him as there is in the comics. There's nothing witty. He's just mean in it. But other than that, you know, it's Billy Batson, it's the Wizard. All the elements are there. This is okay. We're lucky we got Bruce and Dick, you know, and they're in Batman and Robin costume. But there's nothing that none of the nuances. Nothing is there. And then of course the worst offender is Captain America, where it's not even Steve Rogers. He doesn't have a shield.
And no shield. Nope.
It's just, you know, they got these properties. DC and Timely at the time, right? Were probably thrilled just to get a movie version of the characters and figured it'll sell comics.
Yeah, Fawcett.
Well, no, but I mean for Captain America.
Oh, for Captain America. I'm sorry. I'm still thinking of Captain Marvel.
Right, Captain Marvel.
Right. Right. It would have been Timely. Yeah, you're absolutely right. That's what it is. They acquired the license, the rights, and the license holder, the owners are, you can tell, are not involved. You know, that wouldn't happen until, you know, a little later. As far as I know, I think that DC was more involved with the Adventures of Superman with George Reeves. I think Mort Weisinger, the editor, was like involved.
Right. I think you're right.
You know,
I know Dozier was very. Dozier was very resistant to having DC involved with Batman.
Oh yeah, I was going to say and then we kind of dropped back, but it came out okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, all the elements are there, and they, in fact, go out of their way in Batman 66 to draw the line between Bruce and Batman.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I've said it how many times before when we done this podcast, we talked about 66, is that they go to the extent of acting like they are completely separate people.
Mm-hmm.
Batman almost never says, you know, when I go to that charity function, he says, you know, Bruce Wayne is expected to be at that charity function.
Exactly.
And Dick Grayson, as he says to Robin, will be there with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they really make that distinction, you know. Batman and Robin are not presented as personas, you know, in this serial. They're presented as just a different set of clothes.
Right. Yeah.
That's pretty much it. And I love it because you made the comment when we talked about number 13 about how they can go back and forth pretty quickly between those sets of clothes. And this one.
Well, and this is the episode where that's going to happen. Yeah, it's like, you know, and it's like, when did that happen? It was like really quick. But I still love, though, because he gets away. And Daka is so proud because he's like, I got the Batman. And again, what happened to all the other Batman? Like that suddenly, for a moment there, that's gone because he's like, I finally killed him. Then he sees that he's foiled. So then we go back to the theory of multiple Batmans. Yeah,
he actually says at one point, we'll find out if he's another one of those Batmans.
Yeah.
He says of Bruce. It's a startling original idea in some ways for this serial production because as far as I know, there wasn't. There's a 1950s story where some criminals have a league of Batman and fool a rich guy into thinking he's joining this league of Batmans, and that there's a one original, and then there's a bunch of other guys that help him out. And Batman, it was really just a group of guys. But, you know, at this point in the comics, you know, that I don't think there's any sort of idea like that put across. So I'll give that to this serial. That's like kind of an original idea,
right?
Along with the Batcave.
Yes, along with
which makes complete sense. You know, like why Bob Kane didn't think of that, I don't know. Bill Finger or whoever.
It's funny because you bring up the Batcave, and then there's something later on that made me twitch that they reference, and we'll get to that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He has, since now they know that, or Daka knows that the Bell Street house is compromised. He has the whole place destroyed because he's got the roof mined, so he has it destroyed so that you can't get to that entrance.
Yeah, I love that too because it's very effective in there, and it's the shots of everything caving in are good. It doesn't look like balsa wood, you know. Right. It really looks like heavy, you know, beams and stone and whatever the heck else. And I like it when, you know, Batman and Robin come up to it and say, "Oh, can't get in that way anymore."
Yep. So they're going to have to like go in and check out like the maps of the area and stuff and see.
Wait. I had to write this one down. This is another stupid thing in this. He says, first thing tomorrow, we'll go to the surveyor's office.
Right.
Like, it's this thing in this serial of no hurry.
Oh, yes.
We'll just do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
You're Batman and Robin. You can go right this moment and break into the surveyor's office. Right? You know, pick the lock, whatever, sneak in. You know, you love going through windows, you know, opening windows up. It's a constant thing in this serial is they're always, you know, lifting up, drawing up a window and stepping, you know, through windows. And they do it in this one. But it's so annoying. It's, you know, it's Bruce talking, not Batman. It's that lazy Bruce persona thing that he does sometimes. You know, I think he forgets that that's a you know a guise that he has. You know, no hurry, we can do it tomorrow.
And in the meantime, you do realize there's a Japanese spy with a boatload of radium and a secret weapon that he wants to unleash on America. Your sense of urgency in dealing with this.
But it's happened before, you know. I remember that one episode. We'll go back later tonight as Batman and Robin. It's like, no, go right now.
Uh-huh.
What is this like waiting thing? No, you've run around as Batman in the daylight. He runs around as Batman in the daylight here.
Mm-hmm.
It just like, and you know what? While we're on that, this also kind of puts the lie to this whole thing about the early Batman as a creature of the night, and he's never out in the daylight. Well, he's almost always out in the daylight in this serial in 1943.
Yep, he is.
Yep. No creature of the night is he.
And it's weird because here's my next little pet peeve that comes up, because then they get into the car. Robin is seen getting in by two of Daka's men, so they get in their car and they chase after it.
Yeah.
They ambush, force them off the road. But when they get out of the car, it's Bruce and Dick that get out. So It's kind of like, oh, we're really sorry about that. Okay, fine. It's really smart. The guys are dumb enough not to say, hey, we want to see those are costumes, guys. But okay, I'll even accept they're that dumb. But then they drive off and Bruce tells Alfred,
Follow him and don't let him out of your sight.
It'll be a pleasure, sir.
Here's where Batman and Robin give them a little surprise.
Suits me fine.
really? Okay, so now the car knocks them off the road and Batman and Robin get into a fight with them in a park. Not once do either of them, they must be really stupid then. Do they make the connection that's the same car?
It's the same car. How did Batman suddenly, get on to us? And the moment that the fight starts, Batman's immediately knocked down.
Yes.
In fact, I think that he doesn't even get to throw a punch. I think he is literally immediately punched and knocked down.
Alfred helps, though.
Yes, I love it. And we've said this before, too. Alfred is really my hero of this production. As timid as he is, he does want to help.
Yes.
And he does try. It was very good. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Master, I thought I'd killed you.
Not quite, but I appreciate the effort. You all right, Dick?
Sure, I'm all right. What about those two? We're going to present them to Captain Arnold?
No, we'll take him to the Batcave first and question him ourselves. Alfred, go to the car and get some rope.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and and they don't realize that was the guy that was driving that car.
Right.
For that one guy that we pulled over.
Yep. I just that bothered me. The two are though taken down and captured by Batman and Robin. Batman decides to bring them back to the Batcave.
Yeah, I don't know how they got those guys. Jeez. Yeah, whatever.
And when we get to the Batcave, we see that all three know each other. Bernie there telling him, don't talk, and everything.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought of this time around, but the quote-unquote bats that are flying around in the Bats Cave, I think that did they use real bats? Because it's not that, I don't get the sense of that the phony bats of the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and even into the 60s that are in productions, It seems to be that those are real bats that they had on the set, which is a great touch.
Yeah.
When they could have just had a couple of fake bats on strings.
If it's
with
fake.
With guys with poles, just swinging them back and forth.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If it's fake, it's really well staged, well lit, so that it gives off the appearance that it's real. Yeah,
I mean, my gosh, in 1970 on Dark Shadows, they had bats on strings, in a soap opera. You know what I mean? But this is 1943, so I'll give them a kudos. However it was done, I actually think it's very effective.
Yeah, they were awful on Dark Shadow.
Yeah. Pretty much in anything, in anything, really.
Yeah. I did like the bit, though, because as they're talking to the three, Alfred calls down, and he's good about it. Doesn't say Master Bruce. He says, Batman, I need you.
Yeah, Batman, I need you. Yeah. I love it, and that was another Shades of 66.
Yes.
That somebody else heard Alfred's voice in connection with Batman, but doesn't, think anything about it. So think of all the times that Commissioner Gordon talked to Alfred on the hotline.
That voice on the end of the line.
The other end of the phone.
Yeah. Alfred has a note from Linda. Now, it's asking Bruce to go to this particular location, but Batman knows from it, even though it looks like her handwriting, as Robin points out, that the note was forced. He seems to know that. And he also seems to know that the men who forced her will be smart enough not to leave any prints, so there's no point going to the lab.
I love this because one of the things that I really hate about movies and TVs is those moments when we, the audience, know that something is a dodge or a trap or whatever, and you can't imagine, you can't see why our heroes don't see that, and you're screaming at this, and then they fall for it. My goodness, like, it was completely dismissed by Batman.
Yeah.
Immediately. No, it's not real.
Yeah.
No, I can tell. He knows Linda well enough. He knows Linda's handwriting well enough. He's smart enough to, at this moment, to know, like you said, that the guys are not going to leave fingerprints on it. So it's got to be a trap, sure.
Right. So he decides, we'll go, but we're going to do it on our terms. We cut to where they're supposed to meet, and Linda is there. She was brought in a box. She's taken out. She's sat in a chair just in the middle of the room, and Daka's men go out into the hallway and wait.
That's the place. You wait here. I'll call you on the Batman radio if I need help.
All right.
They put the hat on her.
Yes, they put the hat on her.
To hide the device.
Yes.
It's somewhere right around here. Batman says to Robin about using the Batman radio.
See, that's what that was my that thing that got me going,
Oh.
He didn't just say the Bat
ahead.
radio. He said the Batman radio. I'm like,
the Batman
my God.
radio, right.
No, you don't get to do that.
Well, two things. It sort of predicts the coming flood of bat this and that.
Yes.
In the property, which is very interesting. This serial introduced the Batcave.
Linda.
The other thing, I think that they really lost the opportunity to have a merchandise tie-in. That he talks about the Batman radio, and the kids should have been able to go out into the lobby and buy the Batman radio.
Right.
He's out all right. Yeah, we'll put him in the box.
He's immediately surprised by the two men and knocked out.
Yeah, immediately.
I mean, there's no even momentary, let's get a punch in or two. Wow, he's got a good left hook. No.
My justification is that Bruce was so focused on Linda's predicament, that he could be overwhelmed. I don't know. Whatever.
You wait here. I'll take the girl back and send a couple of truckmen over for the box.
I'll make it snappy.
So he's put into the box and brought to Daka. That was opium Daka was inhaling, right?
Yeah,